Now, into the segment of strength, Scott's going to show us how to strengthen some of those problematic low back muscles. We've got Scott attached to a resistance cord here. This part can be done in any number of ways. Right now we're using the vector that's made by Kaizen, and we're going to have Scott try to lean back, pulling the resistance cables. Go ahead. And you can see he's getting some resistance and working in repetitions. Now, one way to instruct this would be to let the weight or the cables go down slowly and try to come back with a little bit of power. So now maybe on the next 3, Scott will go forward slowly and just part of the range up to here. And now we'll go back with some power. And that's another way to get that done with some control. Now Scott's going to work on the front of his core. You might know those as your abdominal muscles. You'll watch him as he leans forward with some speed and then comes back slowly against the resistance. Great. This can be done at home using a resistance cable. We often set this up using an open door with the handles of the resistance cable also fastened to the door. Obviously, you're going to get a much higher level of resistance with something like this, and a much more high level quality and consistent resistance with a device like this as well. Now we're again showing you another attribute of strength. It should be acknowledged that we're also working simultaneously with balance on this, but this is primarily intended for and prescribed to Steve's strength. Steve's tied up to using a waistband at the resistance canister here. Go ahead and show us what you're going to do, Steve. Now he's doing that backwards to push in through his quadriceps and his calf muscles and to use his back. Steve, let's try it sideways now. He's going to use the side of his muscles at the hips as well as at the ankles. So this is good for the side of the ankle musculature and the side of the hip musculature. Again, to be balanced with this, you would need to do this going both directions. So let's try a couple facing the other direction now, Steve. Even though you might think you're balancing it by walking out to the left and coming back to the right, they're totally different exercises. And then finally, Steve's going to turn away from the canister and try this facing away, where he's going to have to use the back of his hip muscles, the front of his lower leg muscles, and his abdominal muscles. So again, you can see he's handling this well. Steve just started working on this a few months ago and has something like this fashioned for himself at home. That's great. Nice job, Steve. Jamie's going to demonstrate another attribute of functional strength training. She's got the resistance canister tied to her here, and as you can notice, she's actually wearing a harness and up high on her body. That's very important. She's sitting in a chair and she's going to work on sit to stand with resistance. Go ahead, Jamie. And as you can see, Jamie's got to use her legs with some power on this, but she also is getting strength from her core musculature. Great job, Jamie. Jamie's going to bring in a resistance cord. This could be done with hand weights or a resistance cord or a TheraBand. Now, she's going to go right into stage 3, feet lined up, and step on the cord in the middle. Go ahead, Jamie. I'll let you demonstrate a few arm exercises while you're holding still. So now we're combining strength and balance a little bit here too. She could do arm curls. She could do what we call flies. And really, this is only limited by your imagination. Remember, she could add in head rotation or eyes closed with this as well. Staging balance into the personalized, most perfect level of difficulty for you is what's critical. Scott's going to demonstrate trying to stand up with arms holding 10-pound weights. Go ahead, Scott. Great, and then sit back down with control. Let's do that one more time. Great. Now Scott's going to show us arm strength with feet on a firm surface and feet apart, eyes open. Go ahead. This is challenging his arm strength and his core and his sense of balance, all three together right now. So Jamie could be doing this with weights as well. You could combine any aspect of the progression, changing your base of support, eyes open, closed, head rotation, cushion surface or foam, and Jamie's just going to show us once again with the foam surface now with her arms in motion against resistance. So I want to make certain you understand the full scope of everything that can be done just in one tight confined area for balance. This next demonstration is a test, but it's also an exercise. It's called the posterior anticipatory recovery test. All that means is they're going to be coming from a position that they're leaning back, posterior, anticipatory, they know they're going to be doing it, recovering back to forward, and we're going to test to see how well you can do. The nice thing about having a test in your exercise program is that we all like to see that we're getting better. And having that sense that you can handle a little bit more speed on the treadmill or that you can handle a heavier weight is all about what we call gamification, seeing that you're improving. So let's try this test, if you will, at home, something you can safely do as well. We're going to start off with Scott, who's going to try to stand as far away from the wall as he can and still come up from the wall under his own power. Now, Scott, if you will, go ahead and fold your arms across your chest and see if you can lift up from the wall. You're already about a foot away from the wall. That's pretty good. Let's see what you got. See if you can get up and stick that landing. Wow.
Just one more time.
One more time. And I love that. That's great. All right, great job. Now Scott's going to exit and he's going to give the stage up for Steve, who's going to try to one-up that. Steve's a good 14 inches away. That's a challenge. Okay, go ahead and put your back flat up against it and come up. He made it. Okay, and try one more time. That is fabulous. Both of those are impressive scores, gentlemen. Let's see what Jamie's got. Now, it should be also well stated that the taller you are, the farther you can actually stand away from the wall. Those two scores blew my mind though. Let's see what Jamie's got. Keep in mind, she's a little bit shorter than these two gentlemen. Go ahead. Jamie's standing probably about 22 inches away from the wall. Go ahead and try that again. And then up again. Great. So imagine where we are emphasizing in the body on this exercise, at the core and at the front of the lower leg. Remember, especially in Charcot-Marie Tooth, we're hitting two very important aspects of your body with the posterior anticipatory recovery test. Great job, team. Part of functional strengthening is making a lifestyle change. We're here in the stairwell where we choose to actually make that opportunity work for us. Steve's actually going to use the stairwell whenever he can going up into a building. Granted, he's going to use the handrail, but he's got a strength opportunity right here in front of him.
I like to be able to utilize the stairs. Whatever building I go into, it's just another way to keep your body moving. It's sort of when I pull into a parking lot at any store I go to, I park as far away from the building as I can so it'll keep me moving. The most important thing is you don't know what you don't know, and you got to keep your body moving, because I think that you can really, I've found myself do more than you really think you can. So